I'm not a fan of the show The Bachelorette, but a Yahoo headline got my attention. So I'm just going to read the headline. It says, Fans react to humiliating Bachelorette format fail after both women rejected. So this is interesting because in previous seasons, The Bachelorette, from what I know of it, that they didn't have more than one woman being the Bachelorette. So this season they tried a new format according to this article in which they picked two women to be the Bachelorette. That's interesting. So it's two women and a bunch of guys. So I guess both of them are hoping to find allegedly love at the end of the season, but we all know these shows are fake and never really ends up well for most of these people. Still funny, still very laughable. The kicker was though is that according to this article, so I'm just gonna name both of the bachelorettes. It's a one is Gabby Windy, the other one is Rachel Rechia. Is that how you say her last name? I'm not sure. It could be either Rechia or Rekia. So I'm just gonna say Gabby and Rachel. So what happened was it was a group date with Gabby. The group date took place at SoFi Stadium in LA. So a bunch of guys that were in their group date approached her and they straight up told her that they didn't feel a connection with her, with one man telling her, according to this article, that she's rough around the edges, and another saying he wouldn't continue if she were the only bachelorette. So obviously this hurt her feelings and just broke her down. Which I'm not trying to be a dick, but it is kind of funny to some degree. So so that was a situation, that caused the uproar and controversy. According to the article, there were a lot of angry Bachelorette fans. They didn't like how she had to go through this rejection. So they also say Rachel also dealt with rejection. That I think it was on a later night that she was rejected by three men on a group date that she was interested in. So they both endured allegedly humiliating experiences. So I'm not going to disagree with them that when you get rejected that it isn't humiliating. It absolutely is. It's one of the crappiest experiences that anyone can experience, and pretty much the majority of people will experience throughout their lives when it comes to dating. Even the most desirable women or men will get rejected at least once or twice. Granted, their rejection rates are lower. The reason why this article caught my attention is you see this uproar about these women getting humiliated, getting rejected, but you never see the same sympathy or empathy for men when they have to deal with rejection on these dating shows. Because I've seen plenty of these other new age dating shows where guys get rejected by women that they desire and they just had to brush it off or just quote unquote man up and just deal with it. But there's no uproar on social media or Twitter or anything like that saying this is awful. John had to go through this or Michael had to go through this. This is so humiliating. I feel sorry for him or they shouldn't have done him like this or blah blah blah. No. No, they don't do any of that. So I just found it funny to see women when they had to deal with rejection. It it's they can't take it. They definitely can't take it. They're not as strong as men when it comes to it. It breaks them down even worse, and it just shows how skewed the dating game really is. Women can cry about rejection. Men, we just have to move on and pick ourselves up. I just think that's pretty funny. I also think this new Bachelorette format was hysterical too. It does suck that they had to change it now, but I think it was pretty hysterical how these women had to put themselves out there and risk getting rejected, whereas in previous seasons of the show they didn't have to deal with it. I think that actually made the show more real, more realistic when it comes to dating versus the fake format which they've had for years, which is just one girl and 20 dudes or one guy and 20 women, just vying for that one person, and we know it's not legit. The connections are not legit. Just it's just a bunch of fakery and a bunch of people trying to get famous off of this show. I've never been a fan of it, but man, this would have been at least more realistic. Granted, I still think in the end, if they had kept the format, these two women still probably wouldn't have had legit relationships with whoever they picked out to show. these relationships always fail, and the reason why they always fail, it's usually based on vanity and just getting attention, and plus there's temptation through Instagram and social media, so they never last. But I just found it interesting. Let me know what you think.